In today's video, we are making 3 delicious and nutritious baby breakfast ideas that are freezable. You can put them in your freezer and use them whenever you need to. We are starting off with these egg veggie muffins. They are packed with vegetables and protein for your baby. That is perfect for the morning. I'm starting off with some spinach and mixed vegetables. I will leave all of the ingredients down below in the description box. If you prefer measurements, I'll leave them down below. But I'm taking the bigger pieces of vegetables and I'm cutting them down to the size that my baby needs to chew, so it's not a choking hazard. And then I'm gonna also add in some mushrooms. These are cremini mushrooms that I washed and chopped up pretty small. They do cook down also in the oven. I'm going to season the mixture. I'm using this jollof rice seasoning from POKSPICES. It has wonderful flavor. It has no salt in it. I'm also adding some garlic powder, onion powder, basil, and oregano. You can use whatever seasonings your baby likes, but I omit salt because it's honestly not necessary for babies, but he loves it regardless. And I like to introduce seasonings to him so he's used to flavorful food, and he can appreciate it because when he's a little older, he's gonna eat a lot of flavorful food in our home, and I don't want him to think, anything other than it's good, So I'm introducing flavor to him now. At the time I'm filming this video, he's about 10 months old. When he's a little older, I'll start adding salt to his food, but for right now, it's really not necessary. I used about 6 eggs in this recipe. I like to give him a lot of protein, or as much protein as I can, and fiber in the morning to keep him nice and full until lunchtime. So this is a great recipe if you're looking to incorporate vegetables into your baby's diet. This works great. Like, I don't want my child to be afraid of vegetables or color. I want him to see it and actually gravitate towards it. So I try my best to add color into his food in almost every meal. I know every child is different, and some children really just do not like the sight of vegetables. But from what I hear, the earlier you start them off with eating vegetables, the more likely that they are to gravitate towards them. Another thing that I do is I try to eat with him. Like while he's eating, I'll eat with him as often as I can at least. And I show him that I'm eating it, and monkey see, monkey do, that saying. When they see you doing something, they also do it as well. So if you're eating vegetables and you're showing your child that you're eating the vegetables, they'll most likely eat the vegetables. Now again, I'm not an expert. This is my first child. It might not work for my second child, you know what I'm saying? But these are the few things that we've been doing, we've been incorporating so that our baby likes vegetables. You want to make sure that everything is well combined. Make sure you grab all the veggies at the bottom and incorporated it with the eggs and heavy cream. I'm going to now oil my pan. I oiled my pan with avocado oil. You want to make sure it's well oiled, or I wouldn't say use a muffin liner for the eggs at least. I've never tried that. I don't think it'll come out as well. But a tip for making sure that these come out of the pan easily is 1, adding oil using a nonstick pan, and 2, when it comes out of the oven, let it cool down for maybe a minute or 2, and immediately flip the pan over and take them out. I tried making these before where I let them sit in the pan and fully cool off in the pan, and when I did that, they did not want to come out the pan easily. So make sure you take them out the pan maybe a minute or 2 after it comes out of the oven. Now moving on to these protein banana muffins. I am using almond flour in this recipe. This was my first time actually trying that. Previously, I normally use cassava flour, and those turned out great. I used that when he's a little younger, but now that he's older, I'm incorporating even more protein into his diet because he's technically a vegetarian right now. So where I can add protein, I do. And so with the almond flour, I notice when taking it out of the oven, I think it's better to use a muffin liner because they did not want to come out as easily as it did when I did use cassava flour. You can use any flour that you prefer, but again, I chose to try it with almond flour because I wanted to incorporate more protein. I also add flaxseed to the mix, just throw in as much as I can because he is a vegetarian. So the flaxseed has the omegas that he would get from fish, and the almond flour has the protein that he would, and the almond flour and the eggs has a protein that he would get from, a typical diet, like if he wasn't vegetarian. Here I add in some grass-fed yogurt. These make the muffins extremely moist, and I like to add in as much moisture as possible so that it's easier for him to chew, one. And then also this also adds more protein. If your child has a dairy allergy, you can use a dairy-free yogurt would probably work great. Or you can omit it and add a little bit more coconut oil just to add in more moisture. I'm gonna pop these into the oven with the egg muffins at 375 for about 20 minutes. Definitely check it at 20 minutes because every oven is different, and you don't want to burn the bottom. Now moving on to this coconut oatmeal porridge. This is so delicious, hence why I'm making a huge portion because my husband also likes this. He eats it for supper sometimes, and so look at the description for the actual recipe because I'm making a lot more than what you probably need for your child for about a month's worth. So, or maybe 2-3 weeks worth. But y'all, this is so yummy. It's a combination of like cultures basically. So I'm from Haiti. My family, we eat a lot of labouille, which is like porridge. And my husband is from Ghana and he eats porridge also. I think they call it like cocoa, like hausa cocoa or whatever, different porridges that they eat. And so it's kind of a combination of the two ideas rather. And so I use oatmeal, and I also use this organic rolled oats with ancient grains and seeds that I found at Trader Joe's. It's perfect. It has the oats, amaranth, quinoa, chia seeds, and ground flaxseed, which again is great for a baby who's vegetarian to get in extra fiber and omegas. But I also added some coconut milk and some ginger. That's kind of like the cocoa influence. So yeah, and baby loves this, y'all. It tastes so good. So I'm portioning out the amount that baby needs for about 2 to 3 weeks worth of porridge. And something new that I've started doing is adding banana to it. Previously, I didn't add any sweetener at all, but now that he's a little older, I can tell that he wants a little bit more flavor. So I add that into his food. And these are the muffins, y'all. The muffins and the egg muffins that came out beautifully. I'm going to blend up the porridge and I'm portioning it out. Every recipe made about 12 servings. The porridge, I actually separated into two, so that's going to last me about 24 days. So one container is about 2 portions because I also mix it up with the Once Upon a Farm smoothies. When it comes time to serving, I take about half of the jar and I heat it up, and then I add probably about 1/4 cup of the smoothie, and I mix it up, and that's usually what baby eats for dinner, and he loves it, and it keeps him nice and full. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. These were the 3 breakfast ideas. Now after they cool down, I put them in a freezer bag and I freeze them, and they're good to go for a long time.